she liked my boyfriend, and like my boyfriend at the time, not Chris. And they may have like hooked up before. There was like rumors of that, and it was just a bad vibe. I just got really bad vibes from her, and I was kind of stuck around her because she was with my other friends, right? So what I did was just tried to distance myself from her as much as I could. So if we were all hanging out, I would try to keep my distance and only really speak to her if necessary, and still stayed cordial. And there were a couple times where we argued. We just butt heads. But now, fast forward like 10 years, we are actually pretty good friends. We don't hang out a ton. I mean, who's hanging out right now anyway? Really can't do anything, but I talk to her on a regular basis, and we grew up and are just in a different place in life, and the stuff that mattered back then doesn't matter now, and we think it's silly. So my suggestion to you would be maybe talk to your other friends about it. I did with mine, and just expressed that I wasn't the most comfortable with her being around all the time, and maybe if we didn't have to hang out with her every single time we went somewhere, like, hey guys, because I'm not really feeling this person, she's not my cup of tea, and that's okay. You're not gonna like everybody, and everybody's not gonna like you. And just maybe ask if your friends could spend some time with you without her, and for the situations where you can't really escape that person, just try to kill them with kindness, and kind of keep to yourself as much as you can. Unfortunately, there are going to be situations in life like this where your other option is to walk away from your friends, or give them an ultimatum to stop hanging out with her, which that's not really fair. So, yeah, I hope that helped, and best of luck to you. The next question is advice for someone who feels like they have outgrown their friends, and then they might be being held back from their friends' behaviors, mindsets, etc. I have also had this situation happen to me where you guys know I changed my entire life, and some of the people I was around at that time did not. It was very hard for me. One of them were my best friend, and even though she didn't do anything like drugs or like a ton of drinking, she hung out with people that did. And once I separated myself from her and everybody else, and met new people that were living the life I was living, I kind of didn't have as much in common with them anymore. So I get where you're coming from, and that's a normal part of life. We are all going to change and not, have the same connections, whether it be a relationship with a guy or your friends. And that's okay, right? That's part of growing and getting older. And if you find yourself not connecting with those people anymore, maybe try and find people who you are connecting with, right? I would say, I know it's super scary. It's a scary thing to realize that you're outgrowing your friends. But I would say go with your gut and try and meet new people and find who you connect with. I have gone through a couple of friends where I just didn't vibe with them anymore based off of their life and my life, and based off of how many people liked your comment. A lot of people a career by this age. No. This is 2020, baby. Okay. 2020. People have careers on YouTube, social media, TikTok, etc., etc. And back in the day, if you said that to like my mom, she would be like, "What? Absolutely not," you know? And for me, I had a change of heart and changed my major after almost finishing an associate's degree in something. But I ended up being able to use some of those credits towards what I'm going to school for now, which I'm already working in the field. So it's like I found my love and my passion before I even started going to school for it. It kind of just fell in my lap, but it didn't happen when I was straight out of high school. I had to find it. It had to find me. I'm reading here that you said that your parents are not rushing you, and that's wonderful. At the end of the day, it's your life. So even if your parents were rushing you, it's your life. You have to make you happy. And if you haven't found what you want to do with the rest of your life yet, it's okay. There's no time clock. This is your life. And nobody can make you want to do something that you don't want to do. And you don't want to rush into something just because you feel like you have to because you're getting older. Do what you love. Maybe take like general studies or something in school for the meantime. If you want to take a semester off, take a semester off. You have the rest of your life to go to school. Obviously, you want to make goals for yourself, right? So you can stay on track and stay motivated. But there's no hourglass that's going to run out when you turn 25 if you don't own a home yet. That's not realistic. And so many other people are in the same boat. So don't let it stress you out. Take your time. Everybody's journey is different. Take me, for example. The next comment comes from Christina Rodriguez. Hi, Christina. She asked how to prepare financially for when you start to become an adult. Great question. I would say if you're in school, to get a part-time job, Tops, McDonald's, wherever you can get a job, wherever you are happy and is going to pay you a decent amount of money, even if it's minimum wage. Work there as much as you can and start putting money away. Open a savings account. Figure out what your bills are, if you have a cell phone bill or car payment or whatever, and figure out, write it down on paper. Figure out what you're making, what your bills are, and what you can put away, and start to put away some money. Even if it's $5 or $10 a week, it will add up. Time flies by. Before you know it, it'll be 2 or 3 years down the line, and you'll have a couple $1,000s put away for yourself. For me, I think the thing that helped me the most was budgeting my money. Knowing how much I could spend on like makeup and clothes and home decor and things like that. Vacationing. Knowing how much I need for bills. And knowing how much I want to put away. So, every month, I watch that video. Anyway, so me and him broke up for like 6 to 8 months once during our 11 years together, and during that time, I did some things happened, and technically we were broken up, right? But that love was still there. We kind of both knew that we were going to end up back together, right? And he had lost a lot of trust in me, and we didn't know if we'd be able to get back together after that because we both had, trust issues, but mostly him. The time apart it was good in a way because we both became more independent people. We needed that little separation because we were very codependent on each other. But at the same time, things, whatever. Like I said, that story time will be on my Patreon by the end of August. Probably film it next weekend, but long story short, there was trust issues in the relationship at that time, and in the beginning it was rough. We argued so much, and I just didn't think we could get past it, and some of my friends didn't either. But we did. We had a lot of hard conversations, and if it's hard for you to talk to each other about it face to face, write him an email, send it in a text, write him a letter. For me, it's easier to write things down than it is for me to say it. So a lot of times that's what I'll do. And I'll, give it to him and just walk away. And just voice your concerns and take some time apart. It doesn't have to be a breakup, but maybe spend a day or two without each other and see how you feel. See if you miss that person, If you love each other enough to try and work on it, I think you can get past it. It just kind of depends on you and what you're willing to accept, and if you're able to heal from the wounds of whatever is, making you have those trust issues. But yeah, I hope that helped. Best of luck to you guys. There's a question, but it's not really a question about them. There's a question about OnlyFans and what I think about starting one. Personally, for me, in my situation, being a mom, not knocking other mothers who have OnlyFans, let me just say that. I'm not knocking it at all. But for me, and it's just not for me. I think that some girls rock it and look so beautiful, and it's a really good source of income. And our bodies are our bodies, and nobody should be able to tell you what to do with your body. So you do whatever makes you feel comfortable. For me, I'm not in a place where I would do OnlyFans. That's just not really my vibe. I'll post a bikini picture or whatever on Instagram, or some shorts that are a little too short, but besides that, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that stuff being on the internet and my son being able to find it one day. Do you know what I mean? That's just me, though. I give credit to the girls who do, because get that coin, boo. Get that coin. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to make one, think about your situation, and will it work for you? Will your family be supportive? Will it cause friction with you and your partner? So on and so forth.